Very much, Coillte. To ask the Minister if he has any proposed future plans of culture for the Forest Park at Kilkeen Forest Park, if there have been any offers made over the past 5 years to buy the park, if so, the details of those proposals, and if culture are planning any major investment at this site, and if you will make a statement on the matter.
Thank you, Deputy Smith. Minister.
Thank you, Cavan Coillte. Thank you, Deputy. Coillte was established as a private commercial company under the Forestry Act 1988, and the day-to-day operational matters such as the management of their forest estate and land transactions are a responsibility for the company. Kilkeen Forest Park is located on the shores of Coillte and consists of approximately 240 hectares. Coillte advised that the company has no major investment plans for Kilkeen Forest Park, but are currently working with Cavan County Council to examine the way in which the public recreation facilities at the park may be improved, and that this may involve engaging as a service provider, for example, in bicycle hire, canoe hire, etc. Coillte advised that the company is also developing a longer-term management plan for recreation facilities at this park. Kilkeen Holiday Village is located in Kilkeen Forest Park. The Holiday Village, which has 38 log cabins for guests, is located on nearly 74 acres with 1.7 kilometres of shoreline to Coillte and forms part of the larger 240-hectare forest park. It was placed on the market in June of 2016 by Coillte. I'm advised by Coillte with regard to the sale of the Holiday Village within Kilkeen Forest Park that this remains on the market. As I've previously indicated, Coillte was established as a private commercial company, and the sale of the Holiday Village is an operational matter, and the details of any offers made are confidential. As part of its management of some of 442,000 hectares of the National Forest Estate, Coillte has more than 3,000 kilometres of trails, 260 recreation sites and 12 forest parks across the country. Coillte Forests provide a range of recreational opportunities for the general public, continuing a long tradition of open access to state-owned lands. I understand that the general public greatly value the value of these recreational parks, and I am pleased to note that Coillte are actively engaging with a short-term put something in place in short term with Cavan County Council to improving the public recreation facilities at the Forest Park.
Thanks,
I understand that there are currently 4 signposted walks, Cavan Coillte, and a family cycle trail at the Forest Park. And I'm also conscious that such recreational facilities are valuable resources and tourist attractions. Sorry, Cavan Coillte.
I'm sure you are. Deputy Smith.
Minister, you have outlined some of the wonderful amenities that we have in Cavan and Monaghan, Coillte owned, and when I say that, I'm thinking of places like the Castle Forest Lake in Bailieborough, where today you had an engagement with some of the local community groups, that being Bailieborough Development Association and also Bailieborough Castle Lake Committee, where they planted 2,000 hardwood trees to commemorate the victims of the Troubles. You also have Dartry Park, which of course borders both Cavan and Monaghan. You have the Cavan Burn with the Marble Art Caves European Geopark, which is located 4 kilometres south of the villages in West Cavan and Belcoo in Fermanagh. We have Kilkeen Forest Park, and you've outlined some of the fantastic amenities there. 240 hectares. It's by no means any small project or any small forest park to have in your county, and could be, has the potential to be a wonderful facility, along with Doonaree Forest Park and Kingscourt and various places like that. But Minister, can I just say what the point I'm trying to make is these are hugely important attractions in counties like Cavan and Monaghan, and unless the investment in them, and if you've been to Kilkeen Forest Park, you know it has had a huge deficit of that investment, and as a result we are losing one of the most important, and we haven't very many of them, tourist attractions in the county.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Well, as a matter of interest, actually, I tried to book into Kilkeen in 1988, and I couldn't get into it. And I stayed in Kilcorby instead, which is is privately owned in your own constituency, which benefited from the Ireland fund from the Shannon and Aaron waterway. So I know it, and I was there at a barbecue with my first cousin in 1988. Well, I'd be delighted to. But just to say that Killikeen, as you know, at the time, the holiday village was established to showcase, as was the forestry school in Avondale, showcased the potential for Irish timber. But like a lot of developments of that era, they've aged and dated. Now, it was put on the market in 2006, as I understand it, originally. And there was no bite, no sale. Then in 2009, it seemed like there was a sale, but it failed to finalise. So it's been on sale. And I understand that there has been active engagement, pretty intensive, but it hasn't gone the full way yet. And in fairness to Coillte, I wouldn't ask, and I wouldn't expect them to tell me the details of the level of bid that is involved, but it is expected to realise a reasonable amount of money. This is the holiday village, which would be used to develop as part of an overall national park strategy, which Coillte are hoping to launch, by the way. They had planned to do it here very shortly, but it's had to be deferred for another date. Their National Forest Recreation policy, which is a new development which they're trying to roll out.
Deputy.
Thank you, Minister. We have to, I suppose, maximise these natural amenities and attractions that we have on our doorstep, and you have alluded to there when you see what's happening in Ballymahon at the moment with a multi-million-euro investment in central parks there. The local employment that will be created has huge potential for counties like Cavan and Monaghan if that template could be replicated across the country. There are a number of local groups, and I think it's important, Minister, because I've had the experience myself, the Grand Gardens, which is a community group in Kingscourt in County Cavan, had a project idea, had done some work with Coillte to develop one of the gardens, the historical walled gardens there. And when it came to further engagement, they had done some preparatory work and actually done a lot of groundwork in developing that as a local amenity in what is already a fabulous park itself. Unfortunately, they could only get so far with Coillte. Then when it came to long-term leases, they seemed to meet a brick wall. And I think Coillte have to become open to the idea and of working with community groups who have so much to offer in terms of voluntary support and work in the community groups in the community areas. But importantly, when they're from these areas, they have a natural passion for these amenities to see them developed, and we should tap into that. I think it's a missed opportunity for Coillte not to engage with community groups like that.
Minister, to conclude.
Could I first of all correct the record? It was 1998. I'm far too young to have had a family wanting to book into 1988. So just to correct the record. Look, I agree with everything. I think Coillte is it's 400, almost 500,000 hectares of land. It's open forest policy. There are a multitude of potential for it, and I think we need to engage in it. I am encouraged by the direction that Coillte are taking. It certainly is true to say that it lost direction in both its forest management and its recreation thing for various different reasons. And the initiative that Killikeen Holiday Village was in initially was ahead of its time, absolutely. But time has caught up on it, and it needs significant investment. And Coillte need, strategic investors. So the likes of the centre parks that you're talking about, that model, I think, with engagement is really useful. And it's Coillte land that's being developed on at the moment, as you know.
Thank you very much, Minister. We move on now. Minister, I know question 9 and question 12 are similar. Can you take the two together?